instead of pretending it didn't happen, I might as well just go ahead and be like, hey, just want to let you know, might have started a minor fire. And so I did. I was like, I might have started a minor fire. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, told her, I was like, I'm making lunch and I started a grease fire. And all the whole place was smoked up too. I had to open all the doors and everything, and it was rough. I had to take out all the fire detector batteries because it was just like I couldn't get them to stop. And I was just like, crap. And I knew it wasn't on fire. I'd already put the fire out. I was like, this freaking sucks, man. It hurt too. Like my whole hand was like red. It was like all the back of my hand was red. Okay. It's like, so everything's you're like a bad Japanese movie right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to your two favorite facially blessed individuals. That's right, folks. It's the two bearded preachers aiming to misbehave on this wonderful evening. So glad that you could all join us as we churn out more podcast gold, because that's what the goats of podcasts do, here for your entertainment. Well, I think we have to start off by saying that the two bearded preachers have been on a minor hiatus. Minor. A minor hiatus, and everybody wants to know, we're like, what's going on here? No new episodes. You guys are, slipping up. No, we're not slipping up.
No.
The reason why, and we got to figure out what happened here, because the whole bearded nation needs to know that Martin is had a little bit of a situation.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
This is after the last time we recorded, and had a little bit of a situation of what is being referred to as is being coined as the worst Good Samaritan ever.
Something like that. Yeah.
By right. People are coining it, I mean I am.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to coin stuff there. I'm going to start calling you the Mint.
Thank you.
Because you coined stuff.
I'm all right with that. So, Martin,
yes.
You had a bit of a situation. Would you like to tell the Bearded Nation what happened to you?
Sure. As many of you know, I'm in the process of buying a house. There's stuff to do. It's getting completed. So I go out to the house, I load up some garbage, and I take it to the dump. The dump
being where you leave all your garbage.
Yes, that is the place.
Just in case nobody knew.
In case you didn't know, that's what you do with it. That's what you do with the garbage. You take it to the dump.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
I load up my Dodge Journey with a bunch of garbage from the house to take to the dump. And I drive over to White Pines where the dump is at. When I pull in...
Should be Black or Brown Pines.
Well, I don't name the places. I just dump stuff at the dump. So I go, and there's a guy there before me, and he's got his truck and his trailer, and he starts throwing stuff off. And I park over close to a dumpster, and I'm taking out my stuff out the back of the Journey, throwing it into the dumpster. It's like 7 or 8 contractor bags full of garbage. No problem. Nothing that serious. Just tossing it in there. Easy peasy. And I look at the guy in front of me, and he's throwing his stuff in there, and in the back on his trailer, he's got one of them old school TVs. You know them old school TVs?
The tube ones.
Yeah, it's deep.
Like real wide. Was it a large tube one?
It was pretty large.
Like a 56-inch one or a 52-inch?
I don't think it was that big, but it was pretty good size. It was the kind with the wooden case built all around it and everything. And
one has to ask the question, what in the world is he still doing with that?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, those things have been gone for a long time, and it must have been sitting in like his grandmother's house, and he finally decided, I'm going to help you out, Grandma, and take it out of here. Now, this guy, he is twice my size, at least.
Younger fella?
At least. Probably middle-aged. He's our age,
Our age, okay.
Late 30s, something like that. Twice as big as me. I mean, he's a big dude.
Like muscular-wise?
Like, he didn't seem like super fit, but he was probably a foot taller than me.
But more muscular than you.
And more muscular than me. That ain't hard to do.
No, it's not.
Yeah, especially now. I mean, it's getting worse as the minutes drive on. I'm getting less and less muscular.
I believe
atrophy is tearing me up. Anyway, after he had thrown in all of his stuff, I'm just looking at that TV, man, and I'm like, I know this guy's going to need some help. So I say, hey, man, you need some help with that?
So you offered the help without him asking.
Okay. He didn't ask me. I offered.
All right.
Okay. He said, yeah, okay. And put the gate down, started, you know how you shimmy with those TVs, how you sort of walk it out.
Yeah.
He walks it down the gate. And then he's like, all right, man, let's go. And he sort of tips it up on the corner, and I go down and I get my side.
Whoa, wait a second. He tips it up, so he picks it up first, then he makes you pick up the other end?
You know how when you're going to pick something up, you'll lean it onto one of its edges.
Yeah.
You'll lean it onto a corner.
He gave you the hard part.
I don't know if he gave me the hard part or not, but he leaned it, and we were picking it up. So I grabbed my side. He's got his side. We're picking it up. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I feel some weirdness going on like the inside of my elbow. It feels almost like a guitar string getting plucked.
Ooh.
You know?
That doesn't sound good.
That's what it felt like a guitar string getting plucked. And the second I felt that sort of feeling, I was like, that didn't feel normal. That didn't feel like it was good. Not an incredible amount of pain, but just something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We throw the TV into the dumpster.
Did you have to lift it up high?
Yeah.
Okay.
But once you get the edge on there, then you're just sliding it in.
Dude, that's the first mistake. At a dump, why do you got to throw it into a dumpster? Dumps are just like big landfills. Just throw crap over there.
This isn't a big landfill place. What it is a bunch of dumpsters that the county comes and collects the dumpsters and drops off a new dumpster. They got a bunch of like those construction level dumpsters.
I'd have looked at that dude and I'd been like, listen, pal, we're putting it right beside here. I ain't putting that in.
Anyway, we put the thing into the dumpster, and then I look at my arm, and my bicep is not where it's supposed to be. My bicep, instead of being, you know how your bicep is sort of attached to your elbow?
Yeah.
On the inside
on the inside joint, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't there anymore. It had rolled up about halfway up my arm is where my bicep's at. And I just look at it, and I'm like, that ain't right.
Did you get dizzy? Did you get...
No, I didn't get dizzy. I was just looking at it, and I'm like, this is wrong.
You get nauseous?
No. I just looked at the guy, and I was like, later. And I go and I get in my car. You
didn't point at it and go, look what you made me do.
What is that going to do?
I don't know.
I offered to help the guy.
Yeah,
I just look at my arm, and I'm like...
Your first mistake.
There's something wrong here. So I drive back to the church.
Okay.
Because the church is in between my house. I drive back to the church, and I get out of the car, getting ready to go back in the office. I'm looking at my arm, and I'm like, hospital.
I should go to the hospital.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So I was like, I need to go to the hospital. So it's getting close to the time where Leia lets out for school. So I call Leia, and I'm like, hey,
I got to go to the hospital.
I got to go to the hospital. I'm coming to get you right now. I'm going to the hospital. Let's go. So I go over there, and I pick up her and the kids. And
they all throw up at the first sight of your bicep.
No, I didn't have them look at it. I just pulled up. I stayed in the car, and I called them. I'm here. Come on out. And they came out and got in the car. I came, dropped the kids off at the house, and went to the hospital. Mm-hmm. So I went down to Reedsville. And this whole time, I got my arm straight up and down it's my left arm that this happened to. I got my arm straight up and down, like sort of in between the seat and the door, just kind of hanging there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, and it's twitching like crazy. I mean, just all sorts of weird twitching and just weird sensations. Not a ton of pain, just weird. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it except just not normal. And I'm driving to the hospital. I go to Reedsville because that's where the
good hospital is.
Well, I mean, they do a lot of orthopedic work there.
Yeah.
And I'm figuring this is the place where I need to go because this is where the orthopedic surgeons are at. I'm just going to go to this emergency room. And I go into the emergency room, and I talk to the nurse, and he looks at my arm, and he's like, so what did you do? I was like, I was helping a guy pick up a TV, and he's just looking at it, and I'm like, yeah. We all knew what was going on. Like, it wasn't a surprise. I knew that right when I saw it. I was like, I know I'm getting surgery. This isn't like a surprise or nothing. And the guy the nurse man who I'm talking to, he was like, yeah, gonna have some surgery. Then I go and I sit down in the room, and the doctor comes in. The doctor's name was Dr. Hand.
Uh-oh.
Isn't the Mr. Hand the name of the puppet in South Park?
That's Mr.
Isn't that Garrison's
Is it?
puppet guy? I think so. Anyway, I talked to him, and I'm just looking at it. And he comes in, and he's like, so, what's going on? And I'm like, I think I tore my bicep. And he just looks at it, and he's like, yep. Then he says, here, make a muscle. And I hadn't tried to move my hand like that just yet.
I would not. Don't do it.
And I tried to make a muscle, and it was just like nothing. It's like I couldn't create tension in the bicep. And that makes perfect sense because my bicep is no longer
there is no
attached.
tension. Yeah.
There's nothing to cause tension. And then when I held up my arm and they looked at it, it just made it, the fact that it was balled up at the top of my arm, it just made it even worse. It just looked worse. And he was like, yep. And he just said, look, man, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a quick x-ray just to see if there's anything else crazy going on in there. But you're just going to have to go and talk to the orthopedic surgeon and they'll get you set up. And I was like, okay, no problem. And they put me in they took the x-ray. They put me in a splint that's all serious and beefed up. And then it was, all right, you got an appointment for Monday. This happened on Thursday. Said, you got an appointment for Monday. Go then and they'll tell you what to do. It's like, all right. So spend the weekend in my splint, have all the church people look at me, laughing at me and stuff. Good time.
Yeah.
They're like, what did you do? It's like, well, I was helping this guy at the dump. They all have the same response as you. It's like, why? What are you helping people for? I feel like one of the best parts of living where I live is that strangers will help you at the dump. Yeah. That's what I like about this place.
Well, if we get this story out, I guarantee you that's going to drop down significantly.
That's going to drop down? Well, I have it on good authority that not many people in Tatnall County listen to podcasts, so I ain't exactly worried about it.
Yeah. So, they don't even know what a podcast is around Tatnall County. What's a podcast?
Pod, like a pea? Like a pea in a pod? No, that's not what it is. Anyway, when I get to the orthopedic surgeon, talking to the guy, or I'm talking to the physician's assistant who has like a follower guy who's like interning or something. He's going around.
I don't want the intern doing my surgery. Did you say that? Because that's what I'd have said. I want the real deal.
Nah, I didn't say nothing like that. What they did is the physician's assistant and the intern guy, they look at my elbow and then they start to try and, like, if you look at the inside of your elbow and you feel along your finger there, you'll feel the tendons. Yeah. Like, you'll feel it, and they tried to play my tendons like a guitar. You know, tried to flick them. But on my left arm, there wasn't no tension because it wasn't attached anymore. So they try and play the guitar, and they're like, see, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. It's like, okay. And I'm just thinking to myself, I know there's nothing there.
I could have told you that.
And see.
Yeah. Listen, it doesn't take rocket scientists. And honestly, it doesn't take an orthopedic surgeon to tell you there's nothing here.
Right. I mean, but whatever. I mean, this guy's got to feel it. He's got to learn how to do it anyway. Whatever. I don't care. Because it's not really hurting. It's just a bunch of weird sensations again. Not a ton of pain. They're both like, yeah, you're going to have surgery. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
This has already been... I knew when I first looked at it.
Honestly, at this point, Martin, I feel like you could be the physician's assistant. Because, I mean, it doesn't seem so hard right now.
I mean, I can pluck a tendon like a guitar.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But those guys were pretty cool. They were relaxed. Then all of a sudden, the surgeon comes in. And he's like, let me see your arm again. And he starts squeezing around there and trying to feel where the tendon's at. Because what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to go in there. He's going to have to cut on my forearm on the inside. He's going to have to cut there and then reach up into my arm and grab the tendon and pull it back down and then reattach it. So he's sort of telling me the process of what he's going to do. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Because I don't really care how the biscuits are made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to eat them.
Just do it, dude.
That's it. So he's telling me how the biscuits are made, and I'm just sort of like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to give you a bunch of nonsense about this. This is relatively common, relatively simple surgery as I understand it. So.
Sounds like major surgery to me.
The recovery time's kind of serious. But
yeah, it's legit recovery.
Yeah. So he tells me all the stuff he's going to do, and I'm like, all right. I go and after he does all that, they put me in this new RoboCop-like splint, which is high speed. What they have it set at the different angles that it'll do. So it's going to set at 90 degrees right now. When I go to the doctor next and they remove my staples, they might extend me a little bit. So from like 90 to 100 degrees, and start moving it back to where my arm is straight. And that'll be a process over several weeks. And then after they get it all straightened out and it's feeling pretty good, then I start physical therapy and we'll do some of that stuff. So that's about what's going on. But anyway, I talked to those guys. I scheduled the surgery. Surgery's going to happen on Thursday, no problem. Then I get a call on the phone after I'm home for a little bit, after I got home, and they say, guess what? The doctor isn't in your insurance network. And I'm like, dude, that's not cool, bro. And then...
Not cool at all.
Not cool, bro. But the other doctor from the same place, because the doctor that I talked to, I guess he's pretty new, which doesn't bother me. But he wasn't in the insurance. He wasn't in the network yet. Yeah. So they said, we can't have him do it, but we can have the other doctor do it. And I'm like, whatever you got to do, guy, because, I need this arm to work at some point. It's going to have to be able to be used.
Yeah.
And I know I can get away for a little while, but eventually I'm going to have to type something. And typing right now is not, it's all handwritten now. We're not
really
typing. Yeah, because it's just uncomfortable and I don't have good finger motion. And moving my hand where you have, like, if your palm's facing the floor and then lifting it up so your palm's facing the ceiling, that kind of motion.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Not with this left hand.
Oh, wow.
That's out. So, which is what your bicep pretty much does. It pretty much flips your hand from facing the ceiling to facing the floor.
Well, and also your hand's right here right now.
It's like it's not degrees. Going.
So it's like, you're going to be like T-Rex typing and everything like that.
Yeah. So everything's getting handwritten at the moment. So, but anyway, the other doctor's going to do it. He does it, going to do it a little bit sooner. He's going to do it on Wednesday. And I'm like, sweet. So I have my first doctor's appointment on Monday. Wednesday, I go in and get the surgery. And the surgery experience, this was my first surgery. I'd never had it before.
Really?
Yeah. So this is my first real injury as an adult. Like I've not had a real injury as an adult. I've had sprained ankles and that sort of thing. But this is my first serious adult injury.
Yeah.
First serious adult procedure. They're like asking me, what are you allergic to? What other procedures have you had? And I'm just looking at them. I'm like, nothing. I mean, nothing. I ain't got nothing.
We're going to find out.
Yeah. We're going to figure it all out right now.
Yeah.
So I go in there and I'm sitting there and I'm starting to think a little bit while I'm waiting for surgery. I wonder how all my congregants feel when they're about to go into surgery. Because I was like, I'm not really scared. I'm mostly bored right now. That's what's going on with me.
Yeah, but yours is like it's a bicep. It's like,
it's not a big deal.
You could live without it.
You can.
You could.
In fact, if I wasn't the age that I am, if I was in like my later 60s, I probably wouldn't even get it done.
My 60, dude, that's only 20 years from now. I'd still get it done, dude.
Hey, man, I'm dying in my early 70s. That's just history.
Yeah. It's 70s and up, I'm not doing anything.
70s and up, definitely not.
Yeah.
But they were like, go ahead and knock it out. I'm like, I know I need my bicep. I'm going to start a life as a gentleman farmer. I'm going to need this bicep so I can hoe and rake and whatnot. And harvest all those things.
You're a harvester.
So that I can sow seed. All that. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the ceiling while I'm waiting, and Leia's in there waiting with me, and I'm just like, this is boring. I wonder what the people in my congregation feel like when they're waiting on these surgeries and that sort of stuff. Because you normally go in and you talk to them, and well, this is what I do. I'll go in, I'll talk to them. I'm like, how are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? What has your experience been like? What is this making you think about? That kind of stuff. And then I pray with them, and then I leave. And that's normally the gist of my visits.
Give him a high five on the way out.
That's right.
Go get him.
Later, dog.
You can do it.
And then I'm just sort of feeling it all out, figuring out the situation. And then it's time to go into the back. And that's when I started to get a little bit antsy when we go into the operating room. Because they're like pushing me around back there, and I'm like, okay. And before all this happened, the nurse who was taking care of me, she was like, hey, you want a Valium? And I'm like, do I need a Valium? And she was like, no, it's just if you're feeling nervous or something like that. If you want to calm down a little bit, get you a little Valium. And I'm just like, nah, I don't need that. I'm good. I don't need no Valium. But then once I was in the operating room, and
can I get that Valium
around and everything,
can I get a couple of Valium there right now? No,
it was too late for all that, man. So I was starting to get a little bit nervous, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, all right, so this is starting to get serious. It's starting to be real here.
It's getting real.
All of a sudden. But everything else.
7 strangers, like, one house, true story real.
Dude, it turned from, oh, this is a weird experience, sort of like sitting in line at the roller coaster park. It's like, this is different.
Yeah,
just waiting, kind of bored.
Yeah, except they're going to cut you open and fiddle around in your insides.
Yeah. But I wasn't focusing on that part. I was focusing on the part where, I'm kind of bored. Leia and I were sitting there waiting for them to come and take me back. And, we had exhausted most of the conversation. So we were just sort of sitting there. And it was like, I think she was a little nervous. And I was trying to...
Was she nervous because she didn't know if she paid your latest life insurance bill? Listen, you're going to need to make it through this one, Martin, because I don't know if we paid the newest update of the life insurance. I'm trying to do it on my phone right now. Stop talking, Martin. Stop talking. I've got to make sure this gets... Let me get this payment in.
Well, and I hadn't really thought about this till now, but that was the first time that she had to watch me go in and be worked on by the doctors too. I didn't really think about that until just a second. Because I'm selfish right now, and I'm thinking about all this from my own person. I'm self-absorbed.
Were you sitting there and she was like not paying attention, and you were like, "Babe, I'm getting ready to go into surgery. Why are you not paying attention to me? It's about me. You've never experienced what I am experiencing right now." And she's all like, I gave birth to 3 kids.
Yeah. She's been through way worse than
That's major surgery. Yours is probably going to be orthoscopic. So suck it.
Leia's surgery is cutting through like muscles, cutting through your abdominals for that C-section, bro. That's serious stuff.
Face had 2. Terrible. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man, brutal. But anyway, when we were in the operating room, it's cold in there. It's just cold.
And you're naked.
Well, no, I got to keep my drawers on.
What?
It's pretty sweet, yeah.
They always make me take my pants off.
I mean, I wasn't wearing pants, but I had my drawers on, so I
didn't have drawers on.
Then, no, catheter? Did you get a catheter?
I didn't get it. You get a catheter?
No, I didn't get a catheter.
I didn't get a catheter.
That's why I got to keep my drawers on. I didn't need a catheter.
Why did I have to take mine off?
Maybe yours was longer. My surgery was scheduled for 38 minutes.
Well, mine had an appendix, which is down there.
Yeah, that's more serious. Yeah, appendix.
And I had a hernia surgery, too. So that's where my underwear belongs.
Yeah. Didn't they give you a catheter for the hernia?
No, I didn't get a catheter for that. Oh. I was 18, had that sucker.
Mm-hmm. No good. So they had me get off the cool bed onto the flat operating table, and I'm laying there, and they're like, going to take my blood pressure. And after they had already told me my blood pressure from before, they took my blood pressure again. I'm like, hey, what am I at? And they tell me what I'm at, and I was like, yeah, that's higher. They're like, yeah, it's going to be higher.
Yeah, because you're kind of scared, dude.
Yeah. So I was. And then they put the mask over my face and like, we're going to give you the good oxygen. Here you go. Have some good oxygen. I'm like breathing through the mask thing. And they're like, all right, now we're going to put in, the anesthesiologist came in. He's like, all right, I'm going to give you this stuff. It's going to sting a little bit as it goes in. And then you're just going to be done. It's like, okay. And they put in, the anesthesiologist does his thing. And I can feel it going into my body. Because the stinging, that's not a lie. It's stinging. And it's stinging as it's going up my vein, and I can feel it coming in, which was definitely a unique experience. It's a good time. Now, I love IV, like straight saline solution. I can take me some straight saline. I love it all day long. It feels nice and cool coming into the body. It's so nice.
Yeah.
But this other stuff, it just hurt as it came into the body. It's just stinging like crazy. I'm like, that's uncomfortable. But I didn't have to think about it long because I was out pretty quick.
Did they do the whole, okay, we're going to count backwards from 10? And they didn't do that? They did it whenever I get there. Okay, we're going to count backwards from 10. Like, 10, 9, 7. And then next thing they're like, how you feeling? I'm like, what the crap happened?
Yeah. When it was pretty funny for me because I feel the stinging and I'm thinking about that. I'm like, oh, that's uncomfortable. And then,
was it worse than
I'm waking up?
Yeah. You feel a little uncomfortable, and then the next thing you go.
Then the nurse is like, tap me on the foot, like, "Hey, it's time for you to go. Get out. It's time to go.
Yeah,
you're done."
Welcome to intermission. Intermission.
Isn't that the weirdest sensation? Like literally you're awake and the next thing you know you don't even remember falling asleep. You don't remember getting knocked out, and the next thing you wake up and you're just like, we're done. And it feels really literally like a second.
Yeah. So that's just craziness. So when I get up, I got this new bandage around underneath my RoboCop arm, and I'm figuring that it's done. I don't see the doctor again. My whole encounter with the doctor went like this. He came in while I was taking off my clothes, and he was like, all right.
Put your underwear back on, sir. Put your underwear back on.
You do not need to be naked for this.
You're standing there butt naked in front of him. Whoa. Put your panties back on, sir.
You're a doctor, right? What's the problem?
Seen this before, right?
That's right. I need you to check a couple things for me while I'm here.
You're down there.
Hey, while I'm under, I'm getting close to 40. Let's go ahead and get this. Inspection done while I'm unconscious.
While I'm unconscious, can you do that for me?
It's like, I am not a proctologist. Well, I do not care. Just
check
quick
it.
Sweep.
Just quick
sweep.
You don't need to be thorough.
Right. Just a quick check.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten anything in the past 24 hours, man. It's good.
Yeah.
It's all good. No, none of that. He came in while I was getting the gown on and that sort of thing, and he just says, all right, you got any questions?
What's your name?
I know his last name, so I'm good, because they're both Spivies. He comes in and is like, all right, man, you ready? You got any questions? I'm like, no, you're going to cut me open and put the thing back on, right? Yeah, okay.
Well, that's not medically how it's called, but that's the gist.
Yeah, the medical stuff, I don't need to hear all that. I don't really care.
He starts doing all the medical stuff. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to cut a unilateral isotopic dig and reach in, and you're like, oh, you shut your stupid mouth. Shut your stupid mouth. Just cut me open, do the thing. Connect it back. Connect the dots, okay? We're done.
You know what to do. Just knock it out.
I'm going to go to sleep. Go ahead and do it real quick.
All of a sudden, I realize how my Bible study group feels when I start talking about deeper theological kind of things. I'm like, oh, this is why they all glaze over when I start talking about this stuff.
Let's talk about anthropomorphism. And they're all like, oh, son of a gun, this freaking guy.
Yeah, that is a good subject. It is good. Anthropomorphisms is great. It's funny because tonight I was talking about academic arguments in apologetic situations. That was what the lesson was about. And the entire group, they were just like...
Are you sure it wasn't because you were on a lot of really heavy drugs?
No, but I was in the midst of that hydrocodone working. So, I mean, I took one of those maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before I was in there. So it was in full effect. I mean, it's worn off a little now, but it was full of effect at the time. So I don't even know really if I made any sense.
You just stood up there. Listen, in your mind, you were all like teaching this amazingly fantastic sound lesson, but actually you were just standing in front of everybody drooling.
Yeah. And they were just sitting there laughing. Facebook Live and the whole thing.
Best freaking lesson Martin has ever done.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
I don't even know what Facebook Live is, but we gotta put this on it.
But let's do it. Let's figure it out. Let's get this Periscope up. But that was my experience. I've had more pain since the surgery because my body's recovering from the surgery, and I've had weird stuff going on because I've been like up and down. I've worked from home a couple of days. Today was my first day, full day in the office since I did the surgery. So I did the surgery last Wednesday. This week, today, Wednesday, my first full day in the office, and I was getting like lightheaded, and I was like kind of, and I didn't take any medicine in the morning. I was like, because the pain level is really a lot lower now. I mean, it's not super serious. I'm a week after now, so I should be able to wean myself off of all that stuff. So I didn't have any medicine, and I was in the office, and I do the standing desk thing. I was just standing there working on my lesson, academic arguments, in an apologetic situation, writing this stuff out. And I'm just getting lightheaded, and I was really starting to feel it a little bit. Then all of a sudden, Megan's like, "Have you eaten anything today?" He's like, "Nope." It's like 1 o'clock or so, and she's like, "You need to go eat something." It's like, all right,
I'm gonna take a nap real quick though.
First, I'm gonna lay down on the floor and
where's the cold linoleum floor? I'm just gonna lay right there. That's
nice linoleum.
Doesn't it feel good?
So good.
It's all cold.
I can understand why the dogs lay flat on their bellies on the linoleum, but yeah. So my recovery process is probably going to take me. It's going to be 6 weeks in my RoboCop arm, and it's going to be probably a total of 4 months before I'm fully recovered. So I should be able to plant my spring garden with both arms. That's what
still going to be in the house soon, or what?
Well, what I'm going to have to do, because I'm not allowed to do anything with this arm now. I mean, it is done. It cannot. They told me this arm does nothing. I'm not supposed to lift anything or touch anything. And here's a fun little thing that I did. I was holding my telephone with my bad arm, and I started to drop it because I've got grip problems now. Like, I've got a very diminished grip strength. I started to drop my phone, and then without thinking about it, I grab it with my bad arm, with my bad hand. And that has been the most painful thing that I've done this entire time. Because I all of a sudden turned my hand and tried to grab it, and it hurts so bad. But I did catch the phone, and that's the important thing. So I didn't break it. But dude, not being able to use both hands is a pain in the butt. It is terrible.
Yeah, I bet it is. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. I mean, this sounds funny, but I cannot tie my shoes.
Yeah.
You need both hands to tie your shoes.
You gotta get some boots, man.
Well, what I did is I took my laces and I just sort of wrapped them up in the extra eyelet, and I'm gonna go laceless, untied for a while. Today was the first day wearing my tennis shoes.
As long as you don't have to escape a bear, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, if a bear comes out, I'm just gonna have to die.
If that does happen, play dead. I've heard it worked. It works sometimes, like 35% of the time. It works 10% of the time.
Yeah, something real low like that. But since I did this to myself, I wasn't able to participate in the judo tournament this past weekend, which was a pain, but I did get to go. And watching a judo tournament might be boring, but when you're on drugs, it is pretty nice. It's very entertaining. You're just sitting there and you're watching these kids throw each other and you're like, whoa. And then these guys start putting on the sumo thing. Yeah, there were some guys there doing sumo, and they wore the sumo
thong? The thong?
Diaper
yeah, the
sumo
thing. Thong.
Yeah. Now they had some boxer brief things on underneath, or some athletic shorts or something, some kind of spandex
coming out.
But they geared up in this diaper thing, and they spent like a lot of time getting that thing geared up. And the guy was explaining sumo to us, and he was looking at me, and he was like, "It is the most fun I've ever had as an adult. It is awesome. It's 30 seconds of pure brutality." What? And I'm like, all right, guy,
aren't
calm
you
down.
Just giving two fat guys giving each other wedgies?
Well, they weren't. None of them were fat. They weren't fat sumo guys. They were all they were like 20-year-old athletic guys.
Don't they palm strike each other too?
They were judo guys. You can palm strike, I think, but it's not terribly effective. It's mostly just trying to get them.
And you're trying to grab their pants.
When you get, yeah, and you push or pull, or you wait for them to pull you, and then you push, that kind of stuff, to get them to either touch the ground with their hand or knee or something like that, or get them to step out of the ring, or just throw them. But it was pretty good. Dave did not win at the sumo, but he did win gold in his division.
Nice.
In the judo, and that's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Like a champ. The downside of winning your matches in judo is that you don't get to fight as much. He did 2 matches and was the winner, and that was it. Because it's round robin, so if you win all your matches, you don't fight as many. So he ended up doing 2 fights, but he got several more several more sumos because he wasn't winning.
That's a lot different, isn't it?
So,
did he have to wear a diaper?
It's a lot different. Yeah, a lot of. No, the kids just wore their gi bottoms and a belt, and they figured because the guys getting into the diaper, it's like a whole ordeal. You got to have like 2 guys helping you to get into the thing. It's like a process. It's like this big long piece of canvas or something, and you're just wrapping around and around and through, and you got to give yourself the most serious wedgie you've ever had. And put like your full weight into the wedgie as they tighten it all up. As an adult, I'm not really.
Were you going to have to do this?
Because I wouldn't have done the sumo. I was just going to do judo. When I was watching the judo, because I was thinking, I wasn't really sure about competing in the judo tournament myself, because I've been doing it for a little while, but I haven't gotten a chance to. I don't randori a whole lot, so I haven't had a whole lot of fights in practice. So I was like, I'm gonna compete, but I'm probably gonna do really bad. is pretty much what I was decided. And then when I go and I see them,
dude, I could take these guys.
There's some of these guys. Yeah, there were some of them that I was like, I can handle that guy. I can handle this guy, that one, but all the rest of them.
Were there a bunch of adults in your like age bracket or weight bracket?
I don't know about the weight bracket. I'm really not good at the guessing people's weight thing. And since I wasn't signed up for it, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just watching all the fights. And I was deciding how well I would do based on their fights. And I'm like, that guy would have beat, that guy would have beat, that guy would have beat. Everybody else would have thrown me on the ground multiple times. So
and you basically get points by throwing people to the ground, right?
Yeah, you get points by a throw, by a pin, or by a submission. That's how you get EPOC. And it's
how long does a match go? Because
I
only saw like less than 30 seconds of Dave's match.
Well, the 30 seconds of Dave's match that you saw, where he threw the one kid and then they rolled around the ground once and then it was over, that's because he won on the throw. That throw was good enough. If you have enough power, speed, and control in your throw, then you have EPOC. You have the win. The short one, where there was just the one throw, that Dave won just
that was
with that
the
throw.
whole match.
On the
Oh, wow.
That was the whole match, right. Matches last 3 minutes. So if he had, like, say, when he fought the other kid, they had a couple of different throws on each other, but they were all ugly, right? None of them were clean. It was them falling over and then trying to get a pin. One of them's getting in a turtle, which with these kids pretty much just shuts it down. They're not going to try and choke each other in the turtle.
Man, go for it.
So, not because they're too young. You're not the kids.
Sink the hooks in.
13 and up. 13 and up, they allow for submissions, but younger kids don't get to do the submissions.
Toby would hate that, man.
Well, he's doing something different. He's doing jiu-jitsu, right?
He loves that. That's his favorite part.
But it was really fun, and it really made me kind of like frustrated that I hurt myself and won't be able to do it, and won't be able to do it. And like the February tournament, I will not be able to get into. April, I should be good to go. So that's the one that I'm going to shoot for, because I should be able to get back into the matches and that sort of stuff by February. That's what I'm thinking. I should be able to do all that by February, but then you got to train for a while to get ready for the tournament. So I want to start back up taking in the lessons, doing the classes at the latest by the beginning of February, and then I want to get into this April tournament, and it's a smaller tournament in April too. So I figured that'd be a good place to cut my teeth. The one in February is a bigger one.
Go for the minor, the smaller one.
Yeah, so I can sort of see what's going on. But I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. So that's what I've been doing, man. This whole thing here, kind of a headache. Ugh.
I know. Sorry that happened, dude.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So what have we learned from this, Martin? What have you learned from your experience of tearing your bicep? Is it never help anybody in need, or lift with your legs, and or make sure that you work out and you stretch before you lift a giant tube TV? I don't know. What lesson have you learned?
I haven't learned a thing, man. Because I'll tell you what, when my arm's better and I'm allowed to pick stuff up again, if someone's moving something at the dump, I'm still going to offer to help.
I don't disagree with you, Martin. However, I'm going to go ahead and put a little clarifier on that. If you see another big giant tube TV, I might just look at it and be like, dude, can we just kick it out of your car or your truck? Can we just kick it out and leave it on the side? Because I think that's a bad idea.
What I want to know is why he didn't throw it into a pond. When I was in college, if you needed to get rid of a TV, you threw it into the retention pond.
TVs, couches, bodies. That's where you throw it, right? Yeah.
Whatever. Dude, I threw so much stuff at the end of the school year in those ponds at the...
Martin. That's why everybody's losing their lures for their fishing poles. It's getting stuck on your old TV.
It's getting stuck on my TV. It's getting stuck on my pots and pans. The microwave that didn't work no more.
That microwave,
the faux fireplace that we built when we had the log cabin room.
In all fairness, that microwave deserved it. If it breaks, it deserves to be thrown into a pond.
Like, that steak's ruined. Have you had a good steak since then?
Yes, I did.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Mr. Donald Prickett, Mr. and Mrs. Prickett, Donald and Kelly Prickett, took us out for Pastor Appreciation Day.
Oh, okay, cool.
Got me a delicious ribeye at the Texas Roadhouse.
Nice.
Delicious. Super good. Best steak I've had in a long time at a restaurant. Better than an Outback steak. I was impressed. I like me a ribeye.